Welcome to the Haven Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders, owners, and professionals are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Hear from industry experts on everything from marketing, leadership, financing, and more. Brought to you by Haven, a co-working space where you can connect, create, and get stuff done.
Hey, it's Nancy Sheed, your co-host of Haven Hubcast. And today I'm really excited to be speaking with Amy Polacko. She is a freedom warrior and as an empowerment coach, entrepreneur, and an advocate for women. Amy, welcome to Haven Hubcast.
Thanks, Nancy. I'm so thrilled to be here. You know I'm a big fan of Haven and everything it represents. So thanks for having me.
So, Amy, I want to talk to you more about what it means to be a freedom warrior. And I know you've actively been involved in a Strong Savvy Women program in the Haven community. And so tell us a little bit more about how you got to be where you are and what these programs and your business look like now.
Sure. Well, I am a warrior of sorts, I guess. And that's why I chose that name for my business, Freedom Warrior. And I think it resonates with a lot of women out there. So my quick backstory is I was a television reporter, got a master's degree from Columbia Journalism School, worked in journalism for 10 years, then in the corporate world, then for Vassar College, and wanted more balance in my life, as many women do. And I started my own business. So I had an entrepreneurial bent at that time, and it gave me more flexibility. I got divorced and, I've been a single mom. And this is something that's near and dear to my heart. And I love helping women take their power back after divorce or a toxic relationship as well. So, I'm really helping women zero in on what they want in their next chapter. Strong Savvy Women is our support group that really falls under the umbrella of Freedom Warrior. And it is an empowerment group for divorced, single, widowed women, women in transition, maybe thinking about a change. And we are super positive. We have speakers, we have events. I'm looking forward to having more at Haven very soon. And it has been a great community that has helped us get the word out to these women who really need connection.
Fantastic. And what a wonderful resource to be offering. I mean, even before pandemic, but I'm sure especially post-pandemic, as we've all felt extremely isolated, connections have, been broken or fragmented, and we've been pulled in a million different directions. I can't imagine a better place or group. Amy, what does it look like for somebody, or what are some things going through the mind of somebody who might either need your services or be part of one of your groups? How does somebody identify themselves as being a candidate for this type of support?
Well, I think, Nancy, it's not uncommon for women in this situation to feel overwhelmed and to feel that they are alone. And this is pre-pandemic I'm talking about.
Right.
I live in Ridgefield, Connecticut. I love my town. But I also thought I would be the only divorced woman here, right? I really thought, okay, I'll be walking down Main Street with a big D on my chest and people will say, there's the one divorced lady. But of course I found that was not the case. And I met other women who were divorced or other single moms. And, it really started as a support group in my house initially. So I would say that, women feel like, what do I do next? No one anticipates getting a divorce. No one, when they're a little girl, thinks, oh, I'm going to be divorced one day, right? But life happens. And so it is an entirely new world. So I think that many of our married friends are wonderful and supportive and do everything they can. But if they're not going through it, they really don't know exactly what it's like. So what our group does is, we have women at all stages, and people who've gone through it are paying it forward and giving advice to those who are just maybe starting the process or involved in the process. And it comes full circle that way. So I think anyone who's thinking about a change, or maybe they've been single for a while and just want a like-minded community that's facing the same issues. I mean, we just had a dating coach talk about, which was quite comical and very informative. We had a Zoom dating coach, Sandy Weiner, and we do things like that. We do financial talks for women, career focused things, legal things that are tailored for women in this situation.
I love that. And I love all of the various aspects that you're bringing together. Amy, whether somebody is coming to hear you speak or they're part of your group, what are kind of the baby steps or starting points that you help or advise or that you share with people who are coming to you in this situation? Are there sort of some just basic principles of things they need to know, baby steps or action steps they can take to just sort of move beyond the overwhelm, move beyond the feeling of alone?
Well, I think one is the sense of community. And that's why for women at every step of the coaching process, when I'm working with them, I encourage them to be part of Strong Savvy Women. It's free. It's very welcoming. We have a Facebook group that's great. And, often people will post a crisis or a question on any given day and get immediate support and advice from people. So that's that. But when I'm working with someone and coaching them, one of the first things I really do is, get back to who they wanted to be, right? It's not about blaming what happened in the divorce or what didn't or who did what. It's let's focus on you. I try to help them zero in on their purpose in life. And for some women, they could have been home for 10, 20 years with their children, which of course we know is a job in itself.
Right.
But maybe they stepped out of a traditional job and left a career and they think, what do I do now? Where do I even begin? And I think that, I'm someone who didn't think I needed a coach actually. And then I got one and it made a big difference. It helped me kind of coalesce my passions into Freedom Warrior and discover that really what got me out of bed in the morning was helping other women. So I do that with these women. I help them figure out what gets their heart racing. What do they wish they always had a chance to do that maybe they didn't? So there's that aspect to it. And also, a financial one as well. Because even though I work with other financial professionals to help them with that, and of course, if they're in the legal process, their attorney, will advise them on that as well. But sometimes they're looking at creating a new income or leaving a job so they have more flexibility with their children. So it's really focusing on that initially and then coming up with an action plan. Because what I have seen is that some women who get divorced, 1 year goes by, 2, 3, 5 tick by before you even know it. And it's really taking this step to focus on yourself and what you want. We're so focused on our children, a lot of us in this situation, that we give up what we want too.
I'm sensing in what you're saying, a sense of kind of loss of self, right? Like for good or for bad. But a woman sounds like, between the overwhelm or the aloneness or going through this process, they tend to get lost, whether that's who they are or maybe on the journey to getting past what they're going through. And you and your group sound like they are there to sort of help along this journey and not only just make the plan, but I would assume part of this is actually holding their hand literally or figuratively along the journey to be accountable for these action steps and know that they're supported.
Absolutely. And it is about rediscovering yourself and celebrating that, right? I don't think divorce is something to, be negative about. I like to look at it as a whole fresh new beginning. But I really view, Nancy, Strong Savvy Women as a microcosm of Haven. And of course, we are kind of under the Haven umbrella, but we support each other. If a woman starts a new business, we're going to shop with her and not maybe on Amazon or somewhere
Right.
else, to support each other in our endeavors. And I think that culture runs throughout both.
And as we're looking forward, Amy, and your business is growing and as, Strong Savvy Women are growing and just looking at the future in general and the trends, right, in relationships and marriage, what do you see coming down the horizon in terms of are relationships going to be different? To your point, you talked about walking down, the street feeling like the only divorced person. That is not the case. So what do you see, Amy, looking forward or that we should be on the lookout for, either in terms of support or thinking about relationships or keeping this aloneness and loss at bay?
I'm glad you asked that, Nancy, because I wanted to mention two books I've read recently that I think are great and are indicative of the fact that we are, as many say, becoming a more trauma sensitive society. One of them is on the New York Times bestseller list, The Body Keeps the Score, Brain, Mind, and Body and the Healing of Trauma by Bessel van der Kolk. Another is Oprah's book. Maybe some of you guys have heard about What Happened to You, Conversations on Trauma, Resilience, and Healing. And she did this book in kind of a conversation interview style with Bruce Perry. Both of these books really look at life events and how they affect your life, your decisions, your relationships, your ability to deal with challenges and your resilience, right? And one of the things that struck me in Bessel's book that it made me think of Haven, to be honest with you, is that one of the key factors in helping someone get over a trauma. And, of course, he's talking about veterans, he's talking about sexual abuse survivors, but, divorce can be a trauma as well. And some of the things that go on in, abusive relationships or marriages are traumas. But he says that one of the single factors that help people overcome that is a community, is a sense of community and support. And so, yes, there's a place for the counselors and the therapists, of course, and there's a place for the attorneys and all that stuff, but there is a really essential role that a community, a support group, people who can understand what you've been through, just like the title to Oprah's book says, What Happened to You?
Right.
So I see people more and more, I think that's in our national discourse as well. All of us being, especially after this year, a little more empathetic, right? Maybe I haven't been through what you've been through, but I'm going to try to understand it.
100%. It's so timely. I'm for the Haven Book Group, shameless plug. We're reading The Listening Path, which is, from what I understand, Julia Cameron. I'm getting it right. I'm not looking it up. Julia Cameron's book that, kind of builds off The Artist Way. And that, again, in her whole talking about listening was, one of her challenges is who's in your listening group, right? Like who's listening to you and who's raising you up. And that was a real aha, was who's in that. We can all say we have a lot of quote unquote friends, but who's truly in that good listener, empathetic, supporting you, listening to you, and ideally raising you up when you need it. So we'll put all of those books in the show notes. Thank you for sharing those. And turning the tables a little bit, Amy, we've talked about it, but putting your business owner, business leader hat on, what have been some of the wins and challenges for you in terms of growing this business? And how has the Haven community supported you in your sort of leaps and bounds or stumbles, as it might be?
Right. Well, and we all have them, right? Failure is just the path to success. I think that, this year has been unique for so many of us and has been, a bit of a silver lining in disguise in some ways. I definitely pivoted from, I still have my business as an entrepreneur, but developing my coaching business and Freedom Warrior has taken center stage. And so I guess the lesson from that is it's always scary to change a little bit, right? And especially when people know you in one role and you're pivoting a bit, you just have to go out there and do it. And I think that Haven has been instrumental in this for me. I'm part of the wellness mastermind group and, getting their feedback on certain things. I did a survey about my website, my logo, my, what does this mean to you? And the feedback was fabulous. So, I think it's such a supportive community, not just emotionally, of course, in the friendships, but professionally. And we have some extremely successful people, right, who are so talented that can bring their opinions and their take on things. So that has been really instrumental for me in learning from other people along the way. So, I think that everyone needs a Haven type community like we're talking about, right? Everybody needs their circle. So I think, zeroing in on your purpose, I think when you discover that and finding your niche, like I said before, what makes your heart beat fast, right? When you
Right.
find that, you have to just overcome the fear and go with it.
I think I'm also hearing, Amy, having a safe place to change and a safe place to grow and a safe place to try new things. I mean, be that in your strong, savvy women or being that in the Haven community at large as a business owner. And I think that is definitely one of the benefits. Or again, bringing it back to what you said, we all need community. Besides connecting with you by way of the Haven community, Amy, what are other ways people can connect with you or find you? What are the best ways to learn more about you and your Freedom Warrior?
The best is to check out my website, freedomwarrior.info. We also have a Facebook group for our Strong Savvy Women group, and it is private. I like to mention that because some women are worried about people knowing they're in the group, or if they're just contemplating divorce, perhaps no one can see who the
Right.
members are. I guard that, well. So that would be a great way to reach out to me, and also drop me an email, amy@freedomwarrior.info. I can put you on my mailing list and let you know about events we have coming up. I'm sure we'll be having more at Haven and also some virtually. So I'm excited about that.
Terrific. Well, Amy Polacko of Freedom Warrior and leader of the Strong Savvy Women, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure to speak with you on this Haven Hubcast.
Thanks, Nancy.
Thanks for listening to the Haven Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders and owners are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Haven is a co-working space and virtual community located in the heart of Fairfield County, Connecticut. Haven is a hub for business owners and professionals to connect, create, and get stuff done. Find out more about the Haven community online at haven.com. That's HAYVN.com. Haven Hubcast is produced by Sound Advice Strategies.